Hi there, Shrief. My name is Ellen, and I'll be correcting this essay for you today. Thanks for being so patient. It was Easter yesterday in my country, and so it was difficult to get to a computer. But thanks for being patient. Let's take a look straight away at your essay. This topic is about ex-prisoners and if they're the best people to talk to youngsters about crime. Let's see what you wrote. Many people who got imprisoned became a law-abiding citizens, and it is argued that they are the superior people to talk to regarding the risk of doing a crime. I totally agree with that statement, as they will share their experience and they lived both lives as well. Okay, so the first thing that I see here is that you've done a nice job of trying to restate the topic and also presenting your position very clearly. You've done both of the things very well. So in terms of task achievement, I think it's a good start. Where I see a problem, however, is with grammar and with spelling. Spelling usually falls under vocabulary. So grammar is problematic, as is the vocabulary. So let's see here. Many people who you said got imprisoned. This isn't really accurate. You wouldn't say I got imprisoned. You would say I was imprisoned. So many people who were imprisoned have become, you've got the wrong tense here, have become law-abiding citizens, because you have a law-abiding, but that doesn't make sense because you already have people. So let's try it again. Many people who were imprisoned have become law-abiding citizens, and it is argued that they are, you wrote the superior people to talk to. All right, now I don't really like superior. It doesn't really quite rephrase what we're talking about here. It's not an appropriate collocation, so I would rephrase that as well. I would say, and it is argued that they are the most appropriate people to talk to juveniles. You really had a hard time with the spelling here. So they are the most appropriate people to talk to juveniles regarding the risk of, we don't do a crime, we commit a crime. So again, it's a matter of vocabulary here, using the right collocation. I totally agree with that statement, as they will share their experience and they lived both lives as well. I think you mean here that they lived the life of a criminal as well as that of a law-abiding citizen. I'm assuming that's what you mean. It's not 100% clear, I have to tell you the truth, but okay. All right, so let's move on to your body paragraphs. There are many reasons why I believe in that they suffer a lot inside the prison. I don't know what you mean here in that. There are many reasons why I believe, maybe you mean they should be the ones to speak to youngsters, as they suffered a lot inside the prison and can transfer their knowledge to the teenagers. They do not have a normal life like their other peers, and they will gather with many bad people inside the prison. Thus, even after they get their freedom, we don't use will after this. Even after they get their freedom, they have to face a society which maybe will not accept them with open hands, no and in front of the plural. For example, I had a friend who was in prison, and after many years, when he became free, he traveled to a different country where no one knew about him, resulting in leaving all his family and beloved ones. Okay, so let's see what you did here. Okay, so you said they could transfer their knowledge to the teenagers. Now, what you're supposed to do here is you're supposed to extend this by explaining to us what you mean, giving us an example, giving us some sort of illustration, or just further explaining in some way what you mean they can transfer their knowledge to the teenagers and why this makes them such wonderful role models here. You don't do that, though. You instead say they do not have a normal life and they will gather with many bad people inside the prison. So these two sentences don't connect. And the result is that your coherence and your cohesion suffer because you don't have ideas that flow together and you're not really developing the topic. Okay, you were supposed to continue talking about this, but you didn't. You started talking about something else. Okay, and then, thus, even after they get their freedom, they have to face a society will not accept them. All right, so what does that have to do with the reasons you say they are the best people? You're telling us about their suffering, but you're not telling us how or why they are the best people. You're just telling us that they leave the country, that they're not accepted in their homeland. And so where is the extension about why they're the best people to talk to youngsters? That's what's missing for me. And you've got a lot of ideas that kind of don't really connect with what you're supposed to be talking about. So let's keep going. Moreover, these old prisoners have the experience of living a good life and a bad one without the end, as they can explain about the merits and the drawbacks of these two lives to the okay, that's not a full sentence. This is a fragment. So you wanted a comma here and a lowercase a. All right. Nevertheless, the criminal life as its advantages. No, I don't understand this. The crime life as its advantages, but its disadvantages is much more. Grammatically, this doesn't make sense, which leading to spend your life inside the jail. All right, again, grammar is a problem here. It's becoming incoherent, so I'm not really understanding what you're trying to say. To illustrate, one of my friends offered a huge amount of money to steal a lady's necklace, but I refused, as I know the circumstances. Comparing about the two lives is a good example of to deterrent teenagers to do crime. Okay, deterrent is a great word, but it doesn't fit here. And I'm still really confused. You're not developing the topic. You've got these examples here, these real world examples, but they're not developing what makes these ex-criminals the best people. You see, what I'm seeing here is you're talking about their life in prison, but you're not really talking about or how they became criminals and so forth, but how does any of this experience make them appropriate people to talk to youngsters? So let's say I'm a criminal. I've done my crime. I've been jailed. I've lived through all this. And then I come out and I am reformed. I'm a good person now. I'm trying to lead a good, positive life. I'm working hard. I'm trying to lead a straight and narrow life. Why does that make me such a wonderful role model to teenagers at risk of committing a crime? Okay, explain that to me. Why does that make me better than any other potential role model? So this is what you're supposed to be talking about here. Okay. And I felt like a lot of what you developed was really off topic. And of course, in terms of coherence and cohesion, it really struggled as well. There was also, as I said, some areas of incoherence, and that's a problem because when you come into that kind of category where the examiner is struggling to understand what you mean, then that puts you in that like kind of lower tier band score. And you don't want the examiner to struggle or to strain to understand what you're trying to say. All right, to reach your conclusion now. In conclusion, I totally agree that previous prisoners who became good citizens should talk to the youth and explain to them the risk of committing a crime due to their own background in the prison as well as out of it. I wish they would implement this suggestion, and I believe it will have a huge impact. Okay, so you've got some grammar problems here. So yeah, I think you should have a good idea about what's going on here. There were a few areas that struggled in this essay. For me, they were task achievement, as you never really developed what you were supposed to develop. So it didn't have appropriate topic development, and that would affect your task achievement score. Some of the ideas just didn't really link to one another. Like I didn't understand why you put each sentence next to each other, as they didn't really flow together, and so that would affect your coherence and cohesion score. You've got some spelling mistakes and some word choice mistakes, so that's going to affect lexical resource. And then, of course, some grammar mistakes that just made it kind of difficult to read in certain spots. I'd like to see you on the online course, the full comprehensive one. I think that's going to be your best bet because there is a lot of work to be done here. I do think you need the structure and all the information that's provided in the course. So I'd really, really, really like to see you on it. I think you're going to find it. Your writing is just going to change immensely. So I hope you decide to enroll in the course. I hope that we can continue working together. I'm really looking forward to it as I'm very confident that we can help you improve. Okay. So thanks so much for sending this in, and I want to wish you lots of luck.